जी प्लीज
लोकसभा में जाना बाद में इसलिए, अदरवाइज I would have been happy to hear me. Sir, Chairman sir, thank you for giving me this opportunity. In fact, I was there in the Lok Sabha during the debate on Constitution, or commitment to Constitution, and also 125th birth anniversary of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Later I thought I should also speak in my house because I thought I should put my point of view before all the seniors there in the Rajya Sabha. My idea is little different from others. As a Parliamentary Affairs Minister, I must admit that I have taken initiative. I talked to some of our colleagues also. The suggestion came from one of the members from the opposition there, and about the observing the Constitutional Day and making it a regular feature. And subsequently, I received some letters from some political parties, including our colleague from the CPM, Sitaram Yechury, about celebrating Ambedkar Jayanti in a big way, of debates also on what Ambedkar ji wanted and what is happening, and what is the affirmative action from the government, like that he wrote a letter also. Then we discussed, and then we came to the conclusion, let us have both together. Our commitment to the Constitution and then celebration of Ambedkar Jayanti. Let us devote, first some people suggested 1 day, then later 2 days and all. That's why we are discussing it. In Rajya Sabha, we could not have the discussion on that day because, unfortunately, one of our honorable members has expired. So, this Article 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 concerning citizenship, Article 60 concerning President of India, Article 324, 366, 367, 379, 380, 388, 391, 392 and 393. They all came into force on November 26, 1949 itself, before the January 26, 1950, because they were necessary even to proceed further. Keeping that in mind, our constitutional framers at that time have brought in all this, and the remaining provisions, that is major part of the Constitution, came into force on January 26, 1950. In between, people had further discussions, and then they have ratified it on 26th January. And then rechristened it as the Republic Day. We are all proud to observe the Republic Day also. But the day of the commencement of the Constitution is also equally important. Though officially they said 26th January, the 26th November, the day the report was submitted, it is also equally important. And then today we are discussing both together. So keeping that in mind, I have certain views in mind. The idea is to express our gratitude, remember the great work done by the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, and the architects of the modern India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, then the unifier of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the first education minister, one of the stalwarts of India in those days, Maulana Ji, and then our president of the Constituent Assembly. First president was Sharat Chandra Sinha, subsequently Dr. Rajendra Prasad. We have to recollect the great work done by these great people, and also visit the Constitution and remember the great contribution and the great thoughts and great expectations that have come from the Constitution and the speeches in the Constituent Assembly. That's the purpose. Keeping that in mind, sir, we are focusing more on Ambedkar because of the invaluable contribution he has made as the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly. And we are also remembering the good contribution made by 271 or so members who are all responsible for bringing such a value addition to the Constitution. So, my ideas, I am speaking as a member. Though I am a Parliamentary Affairs Minister, I am also speaking as a member. My ideas is, what is there in the Constitution, I need not explain further. What has been said by others also, I have taken note of it. My idea is that this is a time that we should really remember what was the expectation of these founding fathers of the Constitution. How far we have achieved, how far we have travelled, what are the grey areas, what are the shortcomings, what are the challenges before us, then how do you meet those challenges? let there be a broad consensus, or let there be divergent opinion, let the public opinion go on molding in its own way. That is the purpose according to me. So our contribution, rather than saying that your government is responsible to this extent, this government is responsible to this extent, my government is responsible to this extent and all. These debates, of course, that goes on continuously. And we have bills and we have different topics to be discussed in the House. We can devote time. But this is the time to take stock of the situation and then try to move forward. How far we have gone forward. That's the issue. So keeping that in mind, what I am thinking is that the founding fathers of the Constitution, they wanted to have the respect to the constitutional institutions, all. Constitutional sense is the parliament, judiciary, and also the other institutions of India, how far we have strengthened them. Keeping the unity and integrity of our country and its democratic, socialist and secular character, to what extent we have achieved it. Maintaining transparency, probity and accountability in public life, dedicate ourselves to equality and social justice and contribute to the task of building a strong republic. These are the expectations of the founding fathers. So, to what extent we have reached it? What are the views of Dr. Ambedkar on caste? He said caste is anti-national, if I have read him correctly. And what are we doing? Are we doing justice to this? Are we not basing some of our politics on the basis of caste? Some of our politics on the basis of religion? Some of our politics based on the region? This is one issue everyone has to ponder over. And then secondly, Ambedkar wanted to have uniformity of law, civil as well as criminal also. After so many years of experience, have we done justice in that direction? Is there a uniformity of civil laws? Are we in a position to talk about and accept and work out the modalities of a common law with regard to marriage, inheritance, and divorce and maintenance? No, so far we have not been able to do it. Whatever may be the reason. I am not saying only particular law should prevail, Hindu law should prevail, or this law should prevail and all. I am not into that. Have we made attempts to move in that direction in spite of Supreme Court saying it a number of times? In spite of public opinion also, and in spite of the fact that in a state like Goa, there is a common civil code, there is practically no problem, different communities are living in harmony there. We have also have the Shabanu verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court. What has happened subsequently? We have amended it also, the Parliament has amended the law. Have we done justice? To what extent it has helped us, or has it hurt? What is about gender equity, gender equality? Have you done justice to gender equality? Are the women of different? Woman is a woman. She may be a Hindu, she may be Muslim or a Christian or some other religion. But woman is woman. Is there gender equality? Have we made some attempts in that direction? If somebody is criticized, there will be people who always criticize, sir. Some people with opposite reservation also, at that time also, saying that by reservations you are dividing Hindu society. That was the argument at that time. But still, our seniors, in their collective wisdom, have gone for reservations. And then the question of sub-reservations, that is also a larger issue. The purpose of reservation is to reach the needy, uplift the poorest of the poor, take care of the suppressed, oppressed and depressed people. That was the purpose of reservation. And have we done justice to that? Then the question of ABCD among the backward classes. The question of now debate going on in the Dalits also about AB. In my area, that area at least, I remember, people are vehemently agitating on both sides. Some people don't want it, some people want it. They are saying if the purpose is reservation to help the needy, there has to be justice to different sections of the same community. Because we have castes and subcastes also in this country. To what extent we have moved it? The Andhra Pradesh government have passed a law giving a reservation for subcaste, scheduled caste Mala and Madiga. Subsequently, it's followed by late N.T. Ramarao. Then the matter went up to Supreme Court. Supreme Court has struck down it. Unless, without amending the Constitution, you can't do this. That was the judgment of the Supreme Court. Then Usha Mahara committee has been appointed. They made certain recommendations. The agitation is going on. Wherever you go, all politicians have different views. People come and they protest and then they sometimes create disturbance in the meetings also. But still, we are not able to take a call. With regard to women's reservation, it's a women's reservation, all parties on the face of it, on record, everybody is in favor of women's reservation. But it's not happening. Why people should explain? Now, if I say that why it has not happened in 10 years, then the debate will be 10 years you have not done. Then you will say that you were there during earlier Vajpayee's regime, you have not done it. I am not into that today. I am not into that. Can we collectively, at least now, as a tribute to the founding fathers, can we do justice? There is a reservation for women in local bodies in different parts of the country. 50% reservation is doing well in certain areas. Now, there is a request for reservation of 33%.
Please.
Question is, who is in Lok Sabha? Before we go to Parlok Sabha, better we do something now. We. I am not saying you. We. So my point is, let us be very frank. Let us not be hypocritical. But when I discuss with my colleagues, they are saying, Santaram, please. Santaram, please. My point is, sir, when I discuss with my colleagues of all shades, they say, you want us to sign the death warrant on our this thing, Lok Sabha? Out of Lok Sabha 543, you want 33% people to go and all male benches to be vacant. But at the same time, when you talk to lady members, they say, how long you go on talking like this? The other day, all-party meeting, friends have suggested to me, at least you have not brought it in at least in the agenda. केवल एजेंडा में रखने में मतलब क्या है? बहुत विषय एजेंडा में थे 50 साल से, मगर जब कर पाएंगे तभी ना. इस बीच में आपस में चर्चा करके भाई 33% करें, 33% करें, नहीं तो और कोई बीच का रास्ता है क्या? The moment is a बीच का रास्ता, then again Mr. Venkaiah Naidu want to dilute the women's reservation 33%. Then there will be a statement. Then again we will say, oh, yeah, no, we are for 33%. Then who is not for 33%? Why things are not moving? This is another issue. Sir, we have also have a challenge about the regional disparities. There are certain regions which are backward in the country, certain states, and certain regions are backward. Then we have demands for creation of new states. We created new states of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Uttarakhand. Subsequently, we created Telangana. Then at that time also, there was demand that particular region, even I myself standing there, in the Dr. Sahab was sitting here. And then I demanded that Andhra should be given special status because they are losing revenue. Subsequently, number of states are also asking for special status. The next day in Parliament, I very well remember, the next day in Parliament, after the bill was passed, there was discussion, Orissa wanted it, Bihar wanted it, West Bengal wanted it, and even Tamil Nadu, one of the developed states, they were also saying, now, a lot of Punjab is now asking, almost, I don't think they know a state. And that is the flavor of the season now. Every region want to be backward region. Every caste want to be backward, and backward want to be most backward, and then most backward wanted to be included in scheduled caste, and some people wanted to be scheduled tribe. This is going on. I am not trying to find fault with them, sir. It is social aspirations. So with the advent of all this maturity that is coming up, people are asking for more things. So how do you reconcile that? Should we not prepare for...
राजधानी बामाको के एक होटल में बंदूकधारियों ने हमला
feel that they also have a stake in the system, which we have not done, for whatever reason it is, without making that an issue. But the Supreme Court has struck down. I don't know. I am not an expert on that, though I have studied law, but I could not practice it. And Vetteji is there. There are other experts also. Our Dr. Ravi Shankar Prasad also sitting behind me. The point is, Parasaranji is also sitting here. Very, very important issue. Nobody is willing to open up. Few voices come out. And then we are trying to score political points that we have drafted a bad law. We have collectively discussed it in this House. We have all came to the conclusion. Then the House, in its collective wisdom, has passed, except one or two people. Others, nobody has objected to. Almost all the major political parties are one with this. Nowhere, I read Arunji's this thing, nowhere in the world judges appoint themselves. I don't think any other system also. But it is a situation today. It is a situation today. And is everything fine? Then why should there be a discussion about changing the collegium system? So that is an issue wherein I thought in this debate of this 2 days or 3 days, whatever it is, people focus their attention on that. And then how do you do it? Then there is also regional aspirations, sir. Regional aspirations. Some people are very comfortable, but we come from different parts of the country. There is a feeling, why not a bench of the Supreme Court in southern part of the country? Why should the litigant travel all the way for ordinary cases up to Delhi? What is happening? What is the great constitutional difficulty in that? I am not able to understand. I am not making any commentary on the functioning or the attitude of the Supreme Court of India. There are other seniors. Why can't we do it? After all, it is an administrative mechanism, what we are suggesting. Then with regard to the delay, with regard to cases also, how much time it's taking, and how suddenly some important cases are getting priority. This is also a question, sir, that's debated among the ordinary people. Some cases suddenly get priority at the top level also. But the ordinary cases, common man cases, they are not getting priority. This is another issue which is agitating the minds of the people. Keeping that in mind, we have to focus our attention on how to take care of the regional disparities, one. Then we come with the backward area development fund. Every district which is forward also is saying, I am also backward. And no political party is able to say, no, you are not backward. That means then you will be backward among the votes also. That's also another point. I'm sorry, Chairman, sir. I was kind enough to permit me, and Nayaji was kind enough to accede to my request because I have to go there. I'm speaking out of my heart. Certain issues, having come to this level after 68 years of independence, if you are not able to address these genuine concerns which are agitating the minds and which was the expectation of our forefathers, we are not able to do that for whatever reason it is. And we are trying to score political points. आपका जमाना में ऐसा हो गया, फिर मैं कहूँगा तुम्हारा जमाने में क्या हुआ देखो, आप मेरे से ज्यादा समय देश चलाया, आपका क्या स्थिति है? और then latest is now about these books, about the question of tolerance, etc. I'm happy that Sri Chidambaram as one of our intelligent person belonging to the intelligentsia, he said that it was wrong on our part to ban Salman Rushdie's book. Sir, there are two things. One is the people who are writing books, they should not affect the sentiment of the people. They should not arouse social tensions. But at the same time, about the freedom of expression and freedom of speech, then people have got right. So you